Hey rockers, welcome back to the channel. It's late night here in Southern Oregon. Actually, it's early in the morning, but hey man, better late than never. Tonight, we're going to go back to 1989 and talk about Johnny Thunders. Thank you, Steve, for the shirt, brother. Before I get started, I want to say I got a letter in the mail from some YouTube subscribers and the band, the Necro Vomits. Yep, they sent me their new 7-inch record. Good stuff, man. You know, this artwork is just amazing. So thank you so much to Prick Bastard from the Necro Vomits for this great letter. They said they wanted to say they hope my recent tour went well. It did. Thank you for asking, my friends. And these guys are based in Springfield, Missouri, but make no mistake about it, they're very much a New York band hailing out of the Long Island area. Thank you for the cool stickers and the patch and the great buttons too, you guys. And also, before I get started, man, my new album, Dark Days Unfazed. It's been out for about 1.5 years now. It's on vinyl, CD, streaming, and now on cassette tape via Bird Eater Entertainment. Yeah, man, Bird Eater Entertainment, they rock. And thank you, Brian Sturr and Bird Eater, for putting out this new cassette tape. If you're a collector of cassette tapes, check out my email in the description area, and you can grab one of these. Only 100 made, man. So check it out. We're going to talk about Johnny Thunders tonight. Going back in time, I'm doing something kind of different. I'm doing a show review, okay? It starts out like this. My good friend, my good late friend, the late, great Gary Fortner, a legendary rocker, partier, and cool dude out of Kenosha, Wisconsin. His house was the place to party, man. Gary Fortner was one of the coolest guys ever. Let me tell you, I could go on about the stories and the things we consumed and the rock and roll we listened to and the conversations we had with all the legendary rockers that would gather at Gary Fortner's house. And later on, at the end of the story, you'll hear a bonus tale that no one might not know, really. Anyone out there that knows it, it's a rare story. You probably haven't heard it, so stick around for that, my friends. Please subscribe to the channel if you would. Give the video a like and leave a comment. Johnny Thunders played at the Odd Rock Cafe in Milwaukee, Wisconsin on September the 5th, 1989. I could not go, but my good friend, the late, great Gary Fortner, he went to the show. I'm not sure if Gary actually arranged for Johnny to play there or not. Maybe, maybe not. Not going to go there because I don't know the facts. I stick to the facts, I swear to you. On a stack of Johnny Thunders records, it's the truth. I couldn't go, but Gary Fortner filmed the entire video of the show, right? And it was amazing. Johnny Thunders was absolutely killer that night in Milwaukee, and you can watch the whole video, well, an hour of the show. You can see it at my other YouTube channel, The Church of Rock, all one word, on YouTube. Please subscribe there if you dig that video. It's pretty badass, my friends. Johnny Thunders comes out on stage, goes into a sound check, right when he's like, he doesn't do it before the show. It's like, check, check, mic check, and he goes into like an actual jam, acoustic jam, which is a sound check, but it turns into like a mini, let's kick this thing off with just me and my acoustic, and it's so professional and so cool and sloppy at the same time. And I'm telling you, classic Johnny Thunders, man. He comes out and says, my first song is going to be about love. And a lot of the drinking people in Wisconsin were a little rude that night, although very passionate. But I will say a lot of times they were talking too loud and being a little disrespectful to Johnny. And he did call him out. You know how Johnny Thunders was, man. But they were laughing when they, out loud when he talked about love. But he rocked, man. He had a great sax player with him, accompanying him with himself, singing and playing acoustic guitar. He was very talkative, man, very witty. He was doing a little political talk. He was funny. Yeah, Johnny Thunders, man, starts dealing with some hecklers. And when the heckler started, he started going, hey, man, let me guess, your favorite song is Chinese Rocks. It was hilarious, man. Too funny. He really called the dude out, making fun of this guy for not really caring about his other music, basically, really. He was disguising it all in humor or, being mean, but you could tell that he wanted you to hear his music outside of Chinese rocks and all the stuff from the Dolls era. Let's face it, the New York Dolls, man, one of the greatest rock bands of all time, man. Those guys are all gone now, but their music lives on forever. And Johnny Thunders is one of the best guitar players, singers, writers, performers of all time, according to this guy. Hey man, Johnny had his stylish baggy pants. He had a cool jacket, white shoes on. The second song was a Stones, a Rolling Stones cover. Of course, Marianne Faithfull did the tune as well. As Tears Go By. Very awesome cover of that tune. He was very passionate. Not wasted. He might have been buzzed. Who knows? All I know is that he was very good and professional on stage. Very dramatic, too, and beautiful with the guitar and saxophone. I can't stress enough how good that stuff sounded. The third song, You Can't Put Your Arms Around a Memory, a Johnny Thunders classic. Let's face it, that is one of the absolute best. The crowd was packed up very close to Johnny Thunders. Like, you know, they were very close, like this close, you know, and it was intimate. You know, and Johnny a lot of times would prowl around the stage, slinking around there, being cool. The cool cat that he was, man. He during the middle of the song, he ordered a vodka to be brought up on stage. And then he, of course, breaks right back into his awesome tune. Then he said something about Buster. I think it was a reference to David Johansen, who was going by the name Buster Poindexter at one point. Not sure, but people in the audience were yelling, Buster, haha, yeah, Buster, and, you know, kind of making fun of David Johansen, I do believe. Yeah, so that was interesting. The fourth song, Wonderful. The effects on the guitar were great. He had some cool effects pedal he was running through his acoustic. And then he was getting kind of upset with these hecklers in Kenosha, man, or Milwaukee. And he says, hey, man, can you shut up for a minute? I think he was aiming that at one particular person, but yeah, lots of beer drinkers in Wisconsin, man, and they can get kind of unruly. But, you know, Johnny he could be kind of mellow at times with some of his songs, like bluesy and really kind of emotional tunes, you know, that you connect with. But he also rocked a lot, too. There was a lot of heavy moments of guitar that was just beautiful, super legendary, and really stellar, man. He stops mid-song again, you know, he's like, you ready? And he removes his jacket, all cool. Johnny Thunders moves. He straps on his electric guitar, and it was just awesome. And then the audience starts heckling him. They start yelling, Stockholm, and laughing out loud because there was an infamous incident in which Johnny got wasted on some smack and was completely out of his gourd on live TV in Stockholm, and it was kind of a bad moment in his career, and that's on YouTube. But the thing is, man, it was kind of mean. They were all like heckling him, trying to give him like good-natured drunken ribbing. But Johnny was kind of like bumming on that, I could tell. I would have been. It's like, really? Stockholm? It's like, yeah, man, they wanted the wasted Johnny Thunders, but that's not really what they got at this show, man. He was just really good. Then he went into like a slow bluesy kind of song. The band kicked in, you know, the drums, you know, the guitar, saxophone, female vocalist. Johnny's combing his hair on stage while he's singing and playing guitar. It was just pretty cool, man. It was pretty cool. Johnny Thunders, man. He was doing killer leads. Some of his leads were just really good. And if you watch that video on the other channel, you'll see that. Really good. The band that he was with is called the Oddballs, and he was with those guys from like August 1988 until his death in April of 1991. Stellar band. I'll tell you their names of the band members at the end of this video as well. At one point, Johnny was getting kind of irritated on stage with the sound guy, and he's like, you can't hear the saxophone, man. And they were having all these issues with the saxophone microphone. At one point, Johnny walked over and grabbed that saxophone microphone, and he starts screaming into it, turn this fucking mic up. And, you know, he's just screaming right into that thing, bending down. It was pretty cool. There was a little bit of, feedback going on at times. You know, it was definitely raw. Small club, the Odd Rock Cafe. Then, of course, they went into some more jams with the saxophone. The guitar kept getting louder. Johnny kept walking back to his amp and turning the volume up and then up more. The saxophone was very loud. It was great. The band was really great, actually. A couple times during the show, Johnny had to tell them to slow down or do something to instruct them. The great orchestra of rock and roll. He literally would use different hand gestures, or he would, tell them over the microphone in front of everybody what to do. But basically, for I'd say 85, 90% of the show, those guys were stellar, And then all of a sudden, Johnny is up on stage. He leaves for a minute, comes back with this big cool white scarf around his neck. Then they did a slow jam. Good song called Disappointed in You. You know what song that is if you're a Johnny Thunders fan. Then they did a song called, then he put on a member of the audience's hat. Johnny Thunder is always a stylish guy, man. Always dressed really cool, cool cat, man. And, he just kept changing appearances while he was on stage. It was really cool, man. They did it. The band went into doing Louie Louie, and Johnny started singing that, and it morphed quickly into a cover of the great McCoy song with, Rick Derringer, So Alone. I'm sorry, Hang On Sloopy. Hang On Sloopy. It was great because Johnny put his white jacket back on, but it wasn't the same one he took off originally. It was one it was leather with all this white fringe hanging down. I'm like, this guy is like a chameleon, man. He just keeps changing his appearance and, or some kind of just super stylish rock and roll god. Let's put it that way. Johnny Thunders, man. They did go into So Alone, which is one of his most famous tunes from the So Alone album. A slow jam, very awesome. I can't say how killer it was on this video, but it was really great. And Johnny was just moving around a lot on stage and playing right to the crowd and doing all the cool moves. Sometimes he would get right into the crowd and like play right to them, and the guitar was in their faces, man. Those guys in Milwaukee were so lucky. I wish I could have been at this goddamn show. Anyway, at one point he starts doing the self-depreciating humor thing, like, hey, I'm so retarded. He says, there's two things I can't do. I can't tune my guitar, and I can't eat spaghetti without a spoon. That was a direct quote. Then he's jamming some more, and then he stops mid-song again, and he says, hey, can somebody bring me a root beer or a club soda? And goes back into jamming, picks up a third jacket and puts the third jacket on. It's just like, wow, this guy's awesome. Johnny Thunders live, Then he introduced the great guitarist Stevie Klassen, who went into like a few minute solo, but it was really epic. Stevie Klassen is a guitar player that Johnny Thunders took under his wing in about 1987, and he stayed with Johnny and was close to him in this band, the Oddballs, until Johnny's death in April 1991. Johnny went into a long rap on stage. He's talking and just going on and on for a while, like he's known for doing. Back into some more self-depreciating humor, talking about himself being, retarded again. And then he says, a little fast, boys. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And he has to, slow the band down because they're kind of pumping up with adrenaline, and he's trying to get into more of a in-the-pocket kind of groove. But he got the band under control quickly, and they worked with him fast, and he seemed to be cool about it. Again, the great rock and roll conductor, man. Then they went into a version of the song Children. That's one of my favorite Johnny Thunder songs. Very cool lyrics, profound in a lot of ways lyrically. Johnny was yelling quite a few of the parts of the song to enunciate certain phrases and lyrics. Just freaking cool, man. It was just a great moment. The video finally cuts off, man. And that's about an hour into the show that I just gave a little review of. Now, if I were to say on a scale of 1 to 10, what would I say? I'd say probably a freaking 9, man. I mean, to me, if I would have been right there in front of that guy, of what I witnessed on that video that Gary Fortner sent me in 1989, I'm telling you, man, yeah, maybe even a 10. It was that good to me. Again, the date on that, if I didn't tell you guys, was September the 5th, 1989. I'm going to tell you the names of the band members here because I did write that down for you guys. Jamie Heath, the saxophone player. Allison Gordy was on vocals. Chris Musto on the drums. Again, Stevie Klassen on the guitar along with Johnny. And Jill Weissoff on the bass. So he had a couple females in the band. He had this great guitar player besides himself. A very cool sax player and a great drummer. So yeah, Johnny was cooking that night, man. It was definitely one of those shows that I would consider 2 thumbs up, absolutely. I guess 3 thumbs up would be better, but yeah. So here's my bonus story, guys. I don't really want to name names because if I name names, it's just operating on lower frequencies, and I don't need that shit to come back and bite me in the ass. So, a friend of Gary Fortner ends up bringing Johnny Thunders to his house because all the cool rockers went to Gary Fortner's house. Again, Many legendary stories from that place, man. Woo-wee! But Johnny Thunders was going over there, but on the way there, he ended up going over to see a guy that plays music in Kenosha, Wisconsin area, who had done a painting of Johnny Thunders. And it was apparently a very good painting. I don't remember. I think I had seen a picture of it in the past. But it was a big painting of Johnny Thunders. And this guy was a huge Johnny Thunders fan, right? Big time Johnny Thunders fan. New York Dolls fanatic. Almost kind of looked like Johnny Thunders even, right? Played guitar. So the dude begs him, please bring Johnny Thunders by my house. I want to give him this painting. I just want to give him this painting, man. I won't take up much time. So they end up going by this dude's house in Kenosha, Wisconsin. The guy is just super excited to meet Johnny Thunders. He has no idea what to expect. But hey, man, Johnny Thunders is coming by my house. I'm giving him my painting kind of thing, right? I mean, who wouldn't be excited, right? I guess when they got there, the dude immediately starts, getting psyched up and probably nervous that Johnny Thunders is right there. And he presents him with this painting that he had worked on for who knows how long, but he was very proud of it. Thought Johnny would be impressed. Johnny Thunders walks in, barely acknowledges the guy. I don't even know if he said hello. Didn't acknowledge the painting. It just didn't give a single crap. Maybe he was in need of what he was into at the time, because, well, what you're going to hear is the truth. Instead, he said, hey, man, can I use your shower? And my buddy, of course, said, yeah. And, well, Johnny Thunders went in the shower and looking for a fix kind of thing. Yeah, he had a fix. He fixed up in the shower, if you know what that means. And I'm not going to say it any other way because, YouTube policies. But, yeah, he went in there and used you know what. And, there was, blood on the, bathroom wall and the ceiling, or not a lot of it, but enough to where this dude knew that that's what he was doing in the shower. And it was known at the time through certain circles that Johnny really liked to fix up, in the shower. And yeah, just like that sensation of the water and the drug. I think it was just one of those things that he was into. And my friend at the time, anyway, the guy with the painting was kind of mortified, because it was just like, wow, I don't think he ever gave up on loving Johnny Thunders, but it was always a very bittersweet moment in his rock and roll history, that's for sure. And I always thought that was a very trippy story, man, because it's true. There's more details, but I'm going to, try to keep it high frequency, my friends. There's something I wanted to show you guys. I'm going to do what I don't normally do. I'm going to actually walk over here. Sorry about the lighting. Forgive me. But I've got this cool book that I was going to show you guys if I can find it very quickly. It's autographed by Johnny Thunders that was signed that very night. And it's probably up here on my shelf. Check it out, man. This is my eBay stuff I'm looking at right now. So there's a lot of stuff up here, man. But I'd really like to show you guys that Thunders book before I get out of here. And if I can find it, that's what we'll do. Here it is. I'm going to have to get this out carefully. Excuse me. But I've got it, man. Thanks for your patience. Check out my little YouTube studio that's pretty trashed right now. But hey, man, what are we going to do, right? Just, whoa, get your finger out of the screen, bro. Hey, man, just as a bonus, check it out. This is a book by the great Nina Antonia. And it's a great book, man. It's called In Cold Blood. I'm sure many of you have heard of it. It's the original edition. But the good thing is, that night, Johnny Thunders not only autographed this once, but he autographed it twice. And there's one of the autographs. You can see it says, "Be a good boy, Jimmy. With love, Johnny Thunders." Pretty freaking cool, man, right? Johnny Thunders in Cold Blood. The official biography by the great Nina Antonia. Check it out, guys. Later on that night, they were partying, and they got Johnny to sign the back cover to Gary Fortner, the guy I was telling you about. So check it out. It says, "To Gary, Johnny Thunders, what a great autograph, man. Huh? Yeah, there you go, my friends. It was worth it, man. It was worth my finger covering the camera and having to walk over in crappy lighting and showing you my trashed room just to show you that little bonus. Hey, man, long live the memory and music of Johnny Thunders. And if you're a fan, thanks for watching. And if you're not a fan, what's wrong with you, man? Long live Johnny Thunders' memory. Back again soon with more rock and roll tales, metal, punk, curveball stories, and whatever in the hell you request. Adios, amigos. Rock and roll.